walking down the street and then suddenly...
Ghouls!
Ghouls!
Ghouls?
Yeah.
What a twist!
What a twist, it was ghouls all along. So when
Hello,
you're drawing
everyone.
a ghoul, you start with the eyes.
But anyway, I'm Neil.
I'm Sam. Want to welcome you all to Challenge Raters.
I'm Theo. I also want to do that. I do the drawing.
I don't want to introduce it to anyone.
Theo does the drawing. Neil does talks about the parts of D&D that are interesting, and I just sit here and agree, basically.
Hey, hey! If episode 1 was anything to say, I don't remember what happens in it.
Neither do
It
I.
was a complete commercial success / failure.
Yep.
So.
And the comments were all incredibly positive or not.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's me.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
that's great.
That is amazing.
I could actually put a different picture of myself on the screen that I drew at some point.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm really happy / incredibly disappointed with how the first episode went.
Yeah, people hated it and loved it, which is great.
My
Or they
favorite
didn't
thing
care.
was I was about to say my favorite thing was the real big engagement and also the apathy. That was my
Yeah,
favorite
it was
thing.
real helpful. It was very encouraging, regardless.
I
It
look
was
forward-
encouraging, even if it was positive or negative, which is the good thing about it.
Yeah, it felt like screaming into a void that somebody was potentially in.
Yeah, maybe.
So ghouls.
Yeah,
Ghouls.
I think I remember what the art for ghouls is. It's got a man with his tongue like that, and
yeah.
he's got his teeth, and he's like a frowny boy.
Yeah.
And he's got like ears, and he's got like a pretty huge neck. I seem to remember. And anyway, I'm not drawing that though.
No.
For a minute, that looked like an Adventure Time character.
He did a
almost.
bit look like an Adventure
That
Time.
was very good.
So I'm gonna sort of rough in a humanoid, like a gangly humanoid, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's more or less the thing. I'm gonna rough one of those in for the moment.
An undead, ravenous hunger. These are the kind of
Okay,
things that come to
he's
mind.
got to have a big mouth then.
Yeah.
And he's
Ravenous
got to be holding a little man to be eating.
Yeah, can only draw giant characters who can hold people. As the layman, Neil, I would ask, what differentiates a ghoul from, say, a normal undead zombie or a spooky ghost?
Well, God, Sam, that's too produced. Too produced.
He did
Veto.
produce it.
I mean, I am
Veto.
generally curious because I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, because I know that the ghouls are next to ghasts in the book, but I'm not sure they're.
Oh, well, yeah, ghasts are basically like ghoul kings kind of thing.
Oh, I
like
see. They're
the-
super ghouls.
Yeah, they're the more powerful ghouls that kind of lead ghouls. So like a ghast, one of the things it does is it gives resistance to turn undead to ghouls around it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So that's actually interesting to have them have a thing that directly references another type of monster
Yeah.
that they do. I don't really know of many things in the book that have that.
It's quite a combo.
But yeah, well, a ghoul, like from the actual story of like the lore of D&D.
Yeah.
They've got some abyssal influence on them. Like they're undead that are like somewhat created and influenced by one of the lieutenants of like the demon lord Orcus.
Oh, so they're kind of Orcus is he's one of them gods. I don't remember who he's the god for though.
I believe he is one of the lords of. I think he's a demon lord of undeath. I think. I'm not certain.
Okay, yeah.
But it makes sense with
Let's
the
just
hunger.
make
I
this
think
small.
with the hunger and decay, that's kind of to the ghouls.
Ooh.
They're a very simple creature, but they're also kind of like cool because they're not just like a zombie. They're like.
What's their intelligence?
Their intelligence? A ghoul's intelligence is 7.
It's pretty dumb. What's the clothing status here? Or should I put him behind a bush?
Well, this man, this ghoul right
Protect his
here,
modesty.
He does seem to be loincloth.
Okay.
But also
I guess
he
if
seems
they're,
to be wearing tatters like the Swordmaster in Dark Souls 3.
Now we can tag that. Very nice. Is there any information about the creation of them?
Yeah, well, I'll start reading the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think he needs bigger hands than that.
So abyssal origins. Ghouls trace their origins to the abyss. Dorsane, the first kind, was an elf worshipper of Orcus. Turning against his own people, he feasted on humanoid flesh to honour the demon prince of undeath. As a,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
as a reward for his service, Orcus transformed or sent into the first ghoul.
Okay.
So ghouls clearly related to Orcus, feasting on people. So that's the original.
It's kind of making me think of the Wendigo.
Yeah, I can see a lot of Wendigo in this.
I need to think of a better pose.
Does the book detail his workout regime? Because those pectorals are looking absolutely fantastic.
I only draw one kind of guy, it must be said, and he's a sort of triangular-bodied, huge muscle creatures. Generally, the kind of man I'm into drawing.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Well, this is a Herculean hero of a.
Well, he's going to be sort of bestial. He's going to be standing on his toes. I assume he's got nasty big toes.
Oh, well, almost certainly.
He's gonna have nice topical reference. He's gonna have Sonic calves.
Oh,
okay,
no.
Big muscly calves.
Never. Veto.
covered in CGI fur.
Oh yeah, I guess they're not really hairy, these. From what I remember of the drawing. Not that I have to draw the same thing, but I guess he should be eating someone or something. I don't really want to draw someone being eaten though.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can just draw him, or you could draw
He could be
Storm and
gnawing on
Norman
a
running
bone.
away. Yeah,
That's true. How big is he? What's the size of this creature?
It's only medium. It's a humanoid undead.
Oh, okay, so it's only human-sized.
Yeah. Well, it's somebody that's been transformed.
It might be stretched out. That's a
Yeah,
stanky step. I quite like that. Oh god, that's funny. I like drawing.
Is he spy
stanky
crabbing?
legs. He's a little bit, isn't he?
But yeah, ghouls.
I just I'm fitting him into this canvas. I keep shrinking him, so I don't want to have to,
They often hunt in packs, so.
Oh, so more than one, eh?
You could do more than one, yeah.
What's the sort of environment would you be putting him in? Because I want to start thinking about that as well.
I like to think...
And do they use weapons? Or are they all...
No. Well, their weapons are their claws.
Right.
Their
so
claws, if you get scratched by a ghoul, it's bad news.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Has it got a special effect?
Yeah, you get paralysed if you're slashed by their claws.
Ooh.
Well, that's a bit of a long arm. That's quite cool, though. Paralysed. Ooh, that's quite hard.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
So they can, drag you away.
That's a big deal.
Take you away.
Yeah.
So, the encounters I think of is, you would maybe have them in, a dungeon or a crypt. And as they're kind of working their way through, then you could have the ghouls attack from the rafters or from some side rooms, and they're not out to kill people, they're out to maybe take people.
Yeah.
Right,
And, you shine some bright light and maybe they dart away.
They definitely sound suited to that kind of ambush style encounter because of that. They could just get people by unawares and then cause some real problems because paralysis is a bit of a bitch.
Well, losing a turn, we've been playing some Divinity as of relatively recently, and losing your turn is pretty common in that. But D&D, I think there's not too many things that straight up There's not a lot of that in D&D.
Losing a turn can be really, really influential on an encounter.
Well, if it's 4 or 5 ghouls, or 4 ghouls and a ghast, then they jump a party of 4 players and they manage to paralyze one of them. Now
That's basically part of 3.
It could almost domino effect in a way.
Yeah.
It could get out of hand quite quickly if rolls go poorly or well for the ghouls, I suppose.
Yeah.
They don't get contained.
Yeah, particularly if they're led by a ghast.
Yeah.
Which
I'm gonna put a skull down here. That'd be fun.
Which they give that turning defense to all ghouls in 30 feet. But they
Right,
also have a
right.
terrible stench.
Okay.
Which basically is if a creature's within 5 feet of them, they make a Constitution check and they're poisoned instead. So you could technically, and their claws also do the paralysis. So you could jump on a guy and be poisoning, paralyzing, jumping around, and the other ghouls all jumping in and paralyzing people.
So, the original one is a guy who ate someone and was then Orcus.
Yeah, I think
Right.
he did it. I think in the story he did it to Orcus, as in he committed it in the name of.
Oh, I see. He did it deliberately.
Yeah, he was like,
Is there
I
any-
love
is-
Orcus so much, and I've
So-
just realised the theme because last week's animal loved human flesh.
Exactly. Yes, last week's.
Last week's, yes. Is December going to be the month of human eating monsters then? Or are we just going to exclusively cover them?
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I think a lot of monsters in the game do eat people.
Yeah.
That's probably quite any beast ones for
Yeah.
certain, and probably
So,
all
And
undeads.
humanoids as well.
A lot of humanoids
Yeah.
do. A lot of undeads would.
Yeah.
Skeletons probably not,
No.
Humans are just really tasty, obviously.
but not dwarves. And he
No.
carries. Anyway, go watch the Manticore episode for
No,
more
we can't
information
be,
on
we can't
that.
Be, no. Veto.
Why not?
Veto.
Why?
We ju-
Vito.
This is about-
Vince and Nico, my favourite.
Don't forget to check out our channel and the rest of our content.
Oh god.
Yeah.
It's beginning.
Go follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, check out my SoundCloud. I've got a fire mixtape.
You better be providing links for the
What?
description.
Sorry, what?
Sorry,
oh,
that's a bit.
I am your social media manager. I forgot.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
true. It's true.
That is my.
Neil will be reading all of the comments.
Yep.
I won't be looking
I
at
will
any
be
of
reading
them.
all comment.
Wait, he's on a quest to read every comment on YouTube.
Yep.
Starting here.
Yes.
So if you want to keep it nice for him,
Yeah.
then just keep commenting nice things here, so he
Yeah.
never has time to get to all the bad ones
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Because the next
Yeah.
one is Alex Jones's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm
We-
digging
we-
the rocks, by the way, a lot. I like this kind of.
yeah, I wanted to.
Yeah.
I want to actually have. Last time, he was just in a
vacuum.
sky void. Eventually, which was fine because it was a
I mean,
Manticore.
yeah, it's quite a complicated beast to draw, so I
Yeah.
think that's fine. Just focusing on that rather than trying to have a snazzy background.
Speaking of the name of the show, what challenge rating is a ghoul?
Wow, that was a segue.
I know,
We're
right?
getting very good at this, aren't we?
Oh
Yeah,
man, we're
yeah. I'm gonna give him some sort of tatters of like previous adventuring gear or something like
Oh,
that.
I
Yeah,
love
nice,
it.
nice.
Yeah, an adventure
Yeah.
turned into it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking Until Dawn. Spoilers for Until Dawn.
Skip
That
ahead
game.
until the
Timestamp it anyway. In that, people become Wendigos when they eat human flesh on this mountain,
yes.
and I think you could do a similar thing for ghasts, right?
Oh,
Or ghouls even.
oh yeah, easy.
Yeah,
'Cause-
definitely.
Well, and you could still have an Orcus thing in there if you want to be straight up in with the real D&D lore.
Doing D&D lore stuff like that is always fun. Like
Yeah.
actually like sticking to it and being like, oh, this is a cult of Orcus.
Yeah,
And-
it gives you a really strong foundation for doing your own stuff within it as well.
Gives your villains something to shout, some weird altars to find out about. Gives your cleric some role history or role
Yeah,
religion.
there's that. Yeah,
Um,
just some tattery stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a good thing to do. I mean, obviously, like creating your own content and like storylines is obviously a huge part of the fun of this this game. But yeah,
the
there's a lot
resources exist for a
there's
reason.
a lot of good resources, and I guess rather than make up your own cult from scratch, you could always just use this cult.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good bases in there, and just have it as a part of your own world, and that's fine. It's good, in fact.
Like I like to
Is it
bring.
morally good?
Well, certainly
Or
not
just-
the ghoul.
Yeah, I mean the ghoul and the cult itself, they seem fairly like evil on the evil
Oh
side.
yeah, does it have evil or
It is
something? Or is it
chaotic
neutral?
evil.
Chaotic evil.
Yeah, it's gonna muck your day up. It's gonna kick your puppy. It's like
Oh no,
it is.
not my dog.
It's
all,
not.
all that candy's getting stolen from your child's. Yeah.
God damn it.
It just loves the taste of human candy.
I now want an image of like a ghoul like snickering and running off with like a oversized lollipop.
Hang about. Okay.
Just like chortling to itself. There's like the child's crying and there's like the big the big like rivers of tears streaming up and out.
Oh, this is gonna suck. This is gonna be a bad drawing.
It looks like a little goblet. It looks like a gobbo.
Hang on, I've got to make him hench.
Yeah, you got to make him a One Piece character.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pick up that neck. Sorry.
Oh, look at him! He's so huge.
Oh,
This is-
Oh no, he's suddenly Steamboat
edit
Willie.
point.
He's suddenly
Edit
Steamboat
point.
Willie.
And then there's a baby.
Oh
The
my god.
babies are always wrapped up.
They are protected.
And there's his loincloth.
Yep.
God,
Perfect.
that was bad.
That was.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Getting rid of that.
My dream came true.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, challenge rating. What is this thing's challenge rating? I don't think you said.
1.
One's okay. I would have thought higher
Yeah, it's
for some reason. I don't know why.
The DC is low on its scratch attack. It's DC 10.
Okay.
Which
Which is to avoid being paralyzed,
Yeah, which means like a low level party, you throw like 3 of these guys against them.
Yeah.
Like, they're only going to have like +1, +2 Constitution. Probably not even trained in Constitution saves. It's going to be
quite
basically a
possibly not.
50-50.
Yeah. As a lot of stuff in 5th edition kind of is, I suppose. Like, isn't that like a thing where most attacks are meant to kind of be a slightly worse than 50-50 odds?
No, they want players to hit more often than they miss.
Yeah.
Hitting feels way better than missing.
Well, that's why like there's not many things with like more than 20 AC.
Yeah, well,
If
when
or
your
even
whole turn is
that.
nothing happens, it's a little bit
Yeah,
like.
you miss. Yeah.
But I am really into this guy's tag gear.
It's quite. The thing about drawing tattered gear is, for it to be really good, I should be thinking, what does it look like not
Completed.
tattered?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite a tricky one. We'll have like a half of a belt buckle here. Again, I'm not gonna like go into as much detail as we did last time.
Is this gonna have? Is this a grim visage of what could have happened to Norman? Is it gonna be like a helmet discarded?
Oh no, that's too sad. But he might be in here somewhere.
Yeah,
Maybe in the completed one.
Maybe in the background there's like an open cave entrance, so you just see his silhouette.
I just want Norman like poking his head around the side of like the cave wall or something, looking in like, oh shit.
Don't want to mess with those guys.
No.
So yeah, challenge rating 1. So they fight in packs. What's the challenge rating of a ghast?
2. So
Okay.
They're not. You wouldn't use them as a boss, but
No.
you'd use them as a leader of an encounter. Something that makes it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine like it could be a cool like wilderness encounter, maybe depending on the setting, to come across like a den of them, as it were.
Yeah.
That could be kind of neat.
I love the idea of using them in man-made structures, though, of like keeping them being kept by like necromancers or cults.
Oh yeah. That could
People
be a thing.
People praying to Orcus, or just some old tomb to a civilization long fallen, and you find these guys wearing like the tattered armor of a forgotten civilization.
Yeah, that's 100% what I got in my mind. It's just like you uncover like a tomb or something that's been like sealed off, and then you go in, and then there's just like some completely unknown or forgotten group that have just kind of been there.
Like
shambling.
in the first Uncharted game, where you fight zombies that spoilers for Uncharted 1. Zombies that were made by El Dorado but were Nazis as well. I think it's been a while.
What a strange
I haven't played Uncharted 1, and now I'm spoiled. I can't.
Sorry, there's
I
Nazis.
can't believe you've done
You
this.
spoiled me, Theo. You spoiled me.
No, there are Nazis who are now like Gollum, as in not golems, as in Gollum from Lord
They're
of the
Wendigos.
Rings. Yeah, I can't remember if they are named as a specific monster, but in El Dorado's a big gold pillar that makes things into monsters.
Wow.
It's strange. Strange game.
Basically, the icon in Dead Space.
Oh yeah.
That's a game I've not played, so I can't say.
Oh,
but
there we go.
You've agreed.
There we go.
Full
I did
circle.
agree.
Full ghoul. Full
yeah.
circle of ghouls. You could have a circle of ghouls gathered around something, and that could be loot, like an adventurer's corpse that's got a bunch
Yeah.
Got a snazzy magic item on it.
That's true. That could be cool. These fingers are going to be wretched when they're done.
Yeah, yeah.
They're already looking pretty wretched to me, but
But yeah, when I was thinking ghoul, like looking through stuff, I was like, they're an undead that, again, I want to pick something low level so it has way more uses.
right, yeah, I get you.
Like you can use it, and it's not just like zombie. It's an undead that's interesting.
Definitely, yeah. And the fact that it's undead is kind of interesting because nothing like in its backstory-esque thing necessarily implies that it has died, but it's undead in the same way that like a werewolf is.
Mm.
Is a werewolf undead in D&D?
I think
It is, right?
I think they're monstrosities.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they're undead.
Because in some things, some things do include.
I would always throw them
werewolves.
as undead.
Yeah, Terry Pratchett does.
It just feels like they're at home there. But
And like, yeah, because also like they have some association with vampires
and
all that sort of thing.
But yeah, nasty ghouls, nasty ghouls. So they're often like the way that you can like telegraph them is through their environment, because they're known for being like around areas of decay, and you know they're consumers and hungry. So you can always have them like looming in the shadows. You can talk about the stench of like the room, and that you can have like the figures kind of darting around.
Yeah.
Like
What is their movement?
Their movement is 30 feet.
Just 30.
They've
Okay.
got 22 hit points, which for a challenge rating 1 monster is alright. They can,
Yeah,
they can take
I mean,
a hit
that's-
from a longsword.
Yeah, they could take two or three.
And they're going to dart around. They're immune to being charmed, exhausted, or poisoned, because I guess they're undead.
Yeah, makes sense.
They have immunity to poison, like damage immunity to all poison.
Oh, okay.
Languages,
So,
common.
and they are intelligence 7.
Yeah,
They can
I
talk.
bet they can speak.
They might not speak about much beyond "I want to eat your flesh."
Oh yeah,
Some.
whispers.
Oh,
Ooh, that could be quite cool.
Yeah.
Again, a cool one for like a horror setting, if
Yeah.
that's what you're into.
There could be a ghoul in the walls.
Oh, that's true actually. An urban ghoul, someone for whatever reason. Maybe if you've got a city in desperation. Maybe some people in some areas have turned to cannibalism or whatever, or there's some cult.
That's very
And
fantasy.
then you can have a spooky. The party might think, oh, there's like a vampire or something, but then you just find, oh, it's like
a chompy ghoul.
a chompy ghoul. But it'd be a cool. You could have something.
Yeah, you could
to,
make
like,
them interesting.
to lead into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be
That's really
incredibly hungry.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, yeah.
Maybe he's been locked away for a long time, and he's clambering through the walls, talking about how hungry he is, whispering to the party, and the party could be like, "Oh yeah, we'll feed you, and like maybe trying to feed him like through the walls and stuff, and he's like not taking the bread or whatever.
Yeah, they might just think he's a sort of insane old man or something.
Yeah.
Oof.
Or some kind of creature. Yeah, because I definitely wouldn't expect a ghoul to speak to me if I was like a player.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
you do tend to like mentally just kind of ban them with like zombies and stuff, even
Yeah.
though they're quite a different kind of encounter.
you could have them lay a
altogether,
trap.
really. Yeah.
Like they could be begging for help.
Wrapped up
Yeah.
in rags,
Calling out,
disguised as a person.
calling out for help.
Yeah, saying that somebody stole their lollipop.
Yeah.
Ooh, please,
That
we're so
that
hungry.
baby could have been a ghoul.
Yeah.
Could have been a ghoul.
Could have been a ghoul
All
buried
along.
up to his neck in the ground, but with wrappings around him, so he looks like a baby.
No, that's terrible.
So it's not my lollipop.
and then
Yeah, get some.
busts out. It's-
Oh my lord.
oh wow! I went to university for drawing. Don't tell anyone though. It's a secret. Ooh. Bye bye.
If they ever make a D&D babies, you know, like
Muppet babies.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Maybe we could do that for an episode one day.
Yeah.
Kraken baby.
Oh please.
Oh, can we do? Yeah, could we have like kawaii little babbies?
I am not good at drawing cute stuff.
No, I know.
It's very sad. I can't resort to the porn industry. I can't draw fetish porn people, because all my stuff's too sort of like weird and gangly and like grossly muscly. Not like sexy muscly, grossly muscly.
It's very explicitly gross
Yeah.
in its muscliness.
I aim for the
That's
gross.
something my dad always complains about when he sees stuff I draw. He's like, it's unpleasant to look at. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's not deliberate. I'm not trying to make it look lovely. I ain't a romantic era painting. Although romantic era painting is great. I don't know why there's just one skull here. There probably should be some more bones if there's a skull.
I'll be honest, this is quite a romantic era ghoul.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Like a ghoul of lost Rome.
he's an old boy. He's been around. Maybe there's a sword and a stone.
You know what we were
No.
talking about earlier? Exactly that. You know, a fallen civilization. You,
Oh, yeah.
You
we
could
were
throw
talking about
these. You could throw these ghouls wearing something that's analogous to real life. Like you can throw in a ghoul that's clearly dressed like a Roman or a knight, or
Put a helmet on him.
yeah, or even dress him like a helmet that's not on him correctly. It's even better.
That's a bad hat. Let's try that again.
But yeah, like a Norman helmet.
For example.
Like a Storm and Norman
No,
helmet.
we're not doing that. This is not a bad timeline.
No.
He's I've got all this room on the left. Maybe there's a big bush here. And he's hiding behind it. I need to, like-
In our setting is Norman Volo.
He pretty much is. He is our equivalent.
Yeah, he's going around keeping an eye.
And there's his fingers. God, that's pretty poor. Again, I like to sketch things out at least like 20 times before I draw things. I do generally. So this is a very different format for me. Again, the full transparency for me between you guys and any viewers that there are. Most of my inspiration vis-a-vis art content on like the internet comes from like Drawfee and stuff, who I really enjoy. But they're very good at like just doing something without spending they don't do wildly complicated things, but they do very simple things very well quickly without having to like spend a long time. Like if they drew, because Norman's design is like very deliberately like simple in the previous one. But for me, it's something that takes a lot of doing something simple is not something that's easy or quick.
Well,
Because I've not practiced it.
some of your simple stuff is some of my actual favourite. Like I think you've got to throw them up on the screen. Like from the D&D that you're running with me and some of your uni friends.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love some of those simple tokens. Like I love like the goblin.
Yeah, I mean those are quite fun to do because what I did for those is I gave myself a 300 pixel canvas, which is very small. Like I think this is actually technically not that big, this canvas, because it's I think this is technically the size of like a YouTube set at 920 1080p whatever video, so it's not colossal huge this canvas, but usually I go for 3000 by 3000. But for the D&D tokens I did for some D&D stuff, yeah, I have a lot of little things. They're quite fun.
Yeah, I think I'm what am I trying to say? Like with the more simple ones and stuff, I think they certainly have like a charm to them.
There's a reason why simple illustration is popular, and A, if you're good at it, it can be quicker, and B, it's just good.
Yeah, like it's like very valid in its own right. Like it doesn't hit the same levels of enjoyment when looking at it as some of your nicer bits of work, which I do look at and I'm like, wow, that's quite something. But yeah, when something's you can kind of tell something's kind of been thrown together fairly quickly in a way, you can be like, I don't know,
skill is always good, even if it's something which is quick.
Sometimes lack of detail can it's not so much you fill it in with your blank your mind kind of thing. It's not really what I mean, but to an extent, and it's it can not cute, but it has a little kind of stylistic element to it, I guess.
Yeah, to talk about the modern world, seeing one of those seeing for instance what Norman looks like on the far left right now. You just see something like a completed version of that image on I don't know, Twitter. You'll just retweet it. You'll just be like, oh, that was cute. Tumblr, you just like it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you see a nice piece of art like what you do, you take it in. You're like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, 100%. It's different things, different they suit different needs.
I have a friend who I keep meaning to do. We're trying to organise some D&D stuff, and they're very, 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 very quick at drawing good stuff. It's very simple. Well, not very simple, but it's good. And it's
They have a very special set of skills.
Exactly, that's the thing. Now, I don't know what he's hiding behind anymore. It was meant to be a bush, but now it just looks like a...
Dung heap.
Like, yeah, it looks a little bit like
It's
candy floss or something. I might make it a rock.
I like a rock,
Is it-
yeah. You can have something cool leaning against the rock, like the Ghouls' old shield.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
be fun. Let's spruce it up. And then there'll be like a big break in it or something.
Yeah.
I like a
Cracked
down
Oh,
shield.
you could have it scratched where like another Ghoul has come at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was trying to defend himself as a person. Yeah.
Oh, I'm in. I'm very in now.
The narrative is set.
Yeah. I do really like the Ghoul, by the way.
Yeah, he's actually very
He's
cool.
very cool.
When he's all done, there's going to be a lot of like mist, I think, as well. So it won't look quite. It'll be a bit different. When I've fully rendered this, I quite like the idea because, again, I'm thinking back to that Until Dawn again. Until Dawn spoilers, guys. Like there's clearly some other skeleton here, some other remains. Maybe this guy's got trapped down here with another adventurer.
Oh.
And eventually has succumbed to survival needs.
The needs.
Yeah, him and his wizard.
Just like, was it Hannah? I can't remember which one it was in.
Spoilers, but yes.
Sorry, I mean she dies in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, but it's still a spoiler.
Yeah, like I very much with
maybe they ran into this cave to escape goblins or something fun, and they got trapped. But now how's Norman getting out?
maybe it's a hole in the ceiling and he's lowered a rope.
Oh, that's a good point. Let's just do one of those. There we go.
There we go.
Now he's got an escape, and we'll have some like. There'll be some lights coming down like. Da, da, da.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be probably quite a dark piece when it's fully coloured and such.
I am very into the Ghoul. Just to talk about the art.
Oh yeah.
I am very into the Ghoul's pose. Like he is posing like the Wendigos do sometimes in Until Dawn.
Yeah.
You know, where they like really pose at the camera, like.
Yeah, he's doing a real pose. It's confusing me. I like a silly over the top pose.
I think he's trying to sniff him out.
I mean, I've not watched JoJo yet, but I really do intend to. And I think once I see that, the poses I'm going to be doing are going to get very silly.
They are very good poses. Like,
I feel like they're going to influence you a little bit. Yeah.
It's the sort of show which is like 100% my thing. I just need to like actually sit down and watch it. Or read it, but I think I'll probably watch it because the anime is like good or something. Anyway, this ain't an anime episode.
no.
Oh no, none of that nerd stuff like anime. Only.
Well, that's the thing about the internet is that while nerd stuff is prevalent on the internet, anime is one of those ones that will still divide people.
It's true. You can't. How dare you like what I don't like or don't care about? Is the order of the day.
So,
and because JoJo is popular, people hate it, which is something I am guilty of anyway. But anyway, yes.
I think we should get back to Ghouls, boys.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ghouls.
This is Chan's raters, not anime raters.
It's true.
I rate Ghouls.
Boku no Pico, 0 out of 10.
Best anime. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, speaking of anime, there is Goblin Slayer out at the moment.
Yeah, that is not my cup of tea.
No, that
I
is
will
not
say
your cup
that.
of tea. I have read some pages of the manga because I heard of something called Goblin Slayer, so I had to look it up.
Yeah, you
have
had goblins and you had
That
to
was
get in
before it
there.
was coming out as an anime. Like I just got linked it and was like, "What is this?" And
Yeah,
later
yeah.
on,
Was that-
like outside of the weird stuff that happens on, the character of Goblin Slayer is amazing. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, he's a high level adventurer that only fights goblins.
I've seen like a bit where he's like, "You're not a goblin. Get out of my way."
Exactly. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Some other monster of some sort, which is very funny.
But anyway, so one of the things about Ghouls, remember we heard that story of how the first one was a elf who worshipped Orcus.
Yes.
Well, there's actually more to that story that actually plays into Ghouls more than you think. Is that in the end, Orcus kind of turns his back on Dorsane.
Oh, no.
So he kind of asks the elf gods for salvation, and they do. They help him out, right?
Oh, nice.
But what that means is that apparently elves are immune to the paralytic scratches and stenches of ghouls.
Right. Okay, that's kind of odd, but sure.
So that could be a really cool setting thing if you want to take that into your setting. Where if there's an elf member of the party, you can say something about your blood is resisting it, or you can give someone who's a half elf advantage on the roll.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be something pretty cool like that. Like you can do some world building, particularly because they have pointed ears.
They do have
pointed sticks.
Pointed sticks.
They do have they got those ears on. I think that could be very cool. I'm a fan of that.
Again, ghouls, like the Manticore, this has opened my eyes.
Yeah, you've won me over on ghouls.
To the interesting aspect of ghouls.
And
it's not that I thought ghouls were bad before. I just had never thought of them as being good before, as it were. I just, I did not rate them, as it were.
Could this be an unintentional side effect of the show, as we highlight interesting things about monsters?
Yeah.
You joke, but
yeah.
I mean, at least from my point of view.
Yeah, no, 100% the same.
I'm just gonna give him some jewelry because he's probably got like magic armlets that give him +2 to basket craft or something.
Well, it could be a good way of again, if this is a previous adventure in a setting, you can totally have a magic item on the ghoul that he's not using. You can show his bestialness by having him have a magic dagger at his hip he never pulls.
Or if you want to make your ghoul a bit tougher, you could give a magic item that he can use for whatever reason.
Yeah, that could be cool. Maybe it's got a command word and it's the only word the ghoul can speak.
That could be a nice little bit of fun stuff. And again, like, if you got a ghast, which I assume a ghast is basically the same, but...
Imagine a boss ghoul.
Just a bigger, a bit stronger version.
Bigger guy, maybe put a crown on his head.
That looks doofy as hell.
It looks like Soul of Cinder was turned into a...
Yeah.
Oh,
I do kind of like... He has got a very bare head. I'll just give him a propeller beanie.
The coolest
just for now.
Yeah.
How would you stat a propeller beanie? Because I really like items that give you flight, but only very small amounts of it.
Well, because if they're so abusable, I'll let you go, Sam. I'm sorry.
Well, the way I would stat it is it increase like, how far can you fall before you take damage again? Is it?
It's like 10 feet or something.
I'd make it 11 feet.
I see. That's actually okay. So like a very
I like that, like halving full damage or something like.
Yeah,
or
that's
like,
what. Well, half full damage makes it a bit strong. I mean, like give it a real small buff because it's a very pointless item.
Like, gives you another 5 feet of falling before you take damage or something. That could actually be interesting.
That's what I would do.
I would say it's not something you have to attune to.
Yeah. No.
Probably not anyway.
And it also obviously gives disadvantage on charisma checks with adults.
Yes.
Obviously.
Bonuses with children.
I think it'll give you a flat debuff on intimidation because you're not going to scare anyone with a silly propeller hat.
You don't want to propel me into a rage.
Unless you use that line.
Yeah.
See, that would
Unless
work.
you use a propeller-based pun, you get disadvantage.
He spins it and he goes, "Spin on it."
Oh god. I'll just put his sword back here. So it's kind of like he's put his stuff aside, knowing his fate.
That's sad.
Oh, R.I.P. Mr. Ghoul.
Yeah, he's got a tongue.
You're a mean one. I was about to say, where do you stand on the salacious tongue?
Right on the tip.
Okay. Right, a little man standing on the tip of the tongue.
I don't know what Salacious Crumb looks like. He's like a gremlin.
That is basically Salacious Crumb. Yes, that is.
There, that's Salacious Crumb coming out of his mouth. I don't remember what Salacious Crumb looks like. He's a gross little gremlin.
But there's Salacious Crumb on the Salacious tongue.
What, Salacious bum?
Oh.
I
should give him like more in the way of teeth. He's got buck teeth now.
Oh god.
Nice.
Oh dear.
Still pretty gross to us.
Yeah. Buck teeth aren't used enough in.
And if you have buck teeth IRL, it's not because you look like a ghoul.
No, it's because you are one.
Edit that out.
Oh,
now, are we
it's
gonna
not-
give him one? Are we gonna give him one of these? That's what I really want.
Every monster has the same face.
I'm taking that fucking nose off. I don't want to give this guy a nose. I'm going to give him like a
Voldemort.
Yeah, definitely. He
Vol-
definitely would have one of
Voldemort.
those.
He's been cursed to have his nose removed.
Yeah, I think you should make every monster a Krampus.
I mean, Krampus is the ultimate monster.
We never addressed it. We just always.
We just said it looked like Krampus, and then it just continued to do so. It was great. I was a big
Yeah,
fan
I
of
mean,
it.
it happens.
That's why I
and-
didn't. That's why I didn't bring it up. I enjoyed it.
Well, the description didn't have anything against it, I think was the point I was going. I'm going to take the Propel beanie away. I know it's very funny, but...
Oh damn!
That's fair. Until a monster specifically states this does not look like Krampus, I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Just give it.
Yeah, if it's got a humanoid face, it's fair game to give it a sort of 5-inch nose or longer, and just an awful expression.
The old demon Pinocchio act.
Maybe I'll make him more forlorn.
Oh, what? He's sad. He's a gore.
Just like a. I don't think it's a happy state of being.
No.
They
I
are
don't wanna-
evil though, but evil and emotion are not necessarily. I think there's not much I can add to this without just sort of.
Yeah, going into full detail
Should we
mode.
do-
Yeah,
wrap
so I think what we'll do is I'll come back to this when it's finished.
Yeah.
And we'll have a peek. This is going to take a while to finish, compared to the Manticore one. Didn't actually take too long to finish. This is probably going to be a little while to sort of to carve out of stone
You got to chisel those pieces out bit by bit.
So when we come back, we'll do like our ratings then.
Yes, I think that's probably a great idea.
Oh
Bang.
shit!
Oh my lordy lord!
There it is. I
Oh.
accidentally didn't record the colouring. Everything else I recorded,
Well,
Oh, I love it.
but the colouring took a while anyway.
man, that's quite something.
Dude, that's stonking. That's awesome.
What I learnt from doing it is I need to think about composition of scenes before I start doing things, because it was a bit weird to do, but it's okay. Mainly, what I mean is it looks like it's laid out like a weird wall mural. That's partly because it's like a really short, wide canvas because of YouTube. But also it's just a bit odd. I usually like to do a square canvas, so
Oh, I love
As
his
the Manticore
claws
proof.
and everything.
he's got horrible, wretched, bony fingers.
Oh, he does.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's a ghoul.
I like the no
Sorry?
pupils a lot.
Yeah,
Mm.
the broken armor is very very nice.
Yeah.
It's very good.
The ruined shield's great. I love it.
Yeah.
It looked great.
The shield's fun to do. I like drawing a broken shield, as I think I said when I was drawing it.
Yeah.
Uh,
And of course
earlier
Norman.
today, when I did that. Lol.
And of course
Um,
Norman is fantastic in that.
Norman's there. He's ready to leave. I
Star of the
think.
show, ready to
Um,
peace out.
Yeah.
Not feeling this.
No.
No, I mean, well, to be fair, what was it? Chandrating Ghoul was like it was like
It's a one.
3, right?
Ghoul
No, it was
was
just
one.
one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Gasp was high. Yeah, so it was just Chandrating 1. So
He's just here to check it out.
I don't know what level Norman is either. I guess it depends on what stage of his journey he's in.
Norman's just here to check it out.
Just scouting.
Yeah. He thought somebody needed help down here.
Or that there'd be fat loot or something.
Yeah. And he saw all there is a ruined shield. And
He might grab the sword.
Yeah.
Maybe he can't see it from there though. Maybe it's hidden by the rock.
he has loot
Because
vision.
obviously, because the sword clearly it must be magical.
It's gotta be.
Because it's not like rusty and cracked.
Oh, you're so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
The gold is shining and stuff. It's not tarnished.
There's a
Oh.
bit of rust on the shield, but there ain't none on that sword. But no, he can't see it from there.
Yeah.
He's too busy being spooked by a ghoul.
Well, you see, as he
Um,
kind of gets to leave, he's going to tumble the rock, and that will scatter the shield and sword onto the ground, and the ghoul will look around at him.
He'll look around him and he'll see the sword, but he'll have to either choose grab the sword or run away.
Yeah, and it'll
And
play
then he's
the
gonna have to
Indiana
make some
Jones
checks.
music.
Yeah. Right. So ghouls, right? What rating do we give ghouls? Because that's the next part.
Yeah.
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 Bearing in mind what we said about ghouls previously.
Yes. So how do we want to
So,
do
like,
this? Are we
well-
going to give is it a rating out of Ghoul or
I can't remember what we did
Out
for
of 20.
for the Manticore.
is it out of 20? Out of 20.
Yeah.
Was it? That's right.
I-
We challenge rated it.
Yep.
And we said that 20 is the most reasonable maximum challenge rating because everything above that's kind of just at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think I gave Manticore 10.
I think it was around there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
like
think we were all.
Is it good?
Manticore is as interesting as it is uninteresting.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But what about a ghoul?
I would say Ghoul definitely not the same as Manticore. I think Manticore's better than Ghoul.
Oh really? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Manticore is better than Ghoul because of I can see me using. I can honestly see me using Manticore more than Ghouls. I think Ghouls are a bit specific, but what you can do with them specifically is very cool.
Okay. See, I agree. I personally, I think I rate the ghoul higher than the Manticore for that very reason.
In that sentence, you've like completely 180'd what I was gonna give as a score for this.
Really?
I guess
I feel bad.
That's because I'm obviously such an expert at this, and my rating matters because it could be swayed so easily. Because I was gonna say, I really think it's interesting because for a early level creature, it is a lot more interesting than say rats or normal zombies or like like an uninteresting kind of fight. Like I know they can be, but the way we talked about it in the rest of this video, I was like, man, they're really interesting.
Well,
but
you know what, Sam? You are completely correct.
Yeah.
You are not incorrect in that. You should stick to your guns.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give it a 12.
Ooh.
That's the thing. Cause I don't think I don't want to base my rating off what I gave the Manticore because I can't remember and I shouldn't. I mean, and if 10 is average, which it should be because it's in the middle.
Yeah. We ain't no GameSpot 17 or whatever.
No, we're gonna hopefully cover the full range of numbers eventually. I think because the ghoul again, it's much more interesting than a zombie. I think it's while you're right, it is really specific, and like what you do with it is sort of it's a little bit more weird than weird in a way which makes it harder to use. I think for a creative DM who wants to use ghouls, I think they are more useful than maybe like a Manticore would be. If you know what I mean by that, so like exactly. A Manticore is really good because you can do, not whatever with it, but you can do loads of stuff with it because it's versatile. But I think the specificness of the ghoul is what makes it cool because you can make your ghouls in your setting more interesting because of that. Whereas a Manticore, you could do it with a Manticore as well, but I think you have to work harder.
Both of you are winning me over.
Well,
I think did I give a number to it already?
You did not give a arbitrary number, which I'm going to ask for now.
It's challenge rating 13.
Whoa!
Wow, 13.
Why?
I really like the ghoul, and I'm going to include Ghast in that because the Ghast is just a big.
You know what? You mentioning the word Ghast. You know what? I think it's edged it. I'm giving mine an 11. I'm
Whoa.
putting it just ahead of Manticore now.
Because
it was 9. It was 9 before. During mid conversation, it went to a 10. Mentioning Ghast, bam, 11. Gotta be.
Because you see, because Manticores are grand. There's no like Manticore that you could put a cool hat on and say he's the big Manticore.
No, but you can have could have like an armored Manticore though.
You could
have an armored ghoul.
I think that's what we will probably discover, aka we already know. But you can make anything different and cool depending on how you use it.
And again, this art's amazing.
Yeah,
thank you.
This
very
one
much.
it's blown it. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
I hope to use this as a way to keep practicing and improve on various things. We will look into like perhaps the format some more. This may not be representative.
It's a work in progress.
It's gonna be
to all the audience listening to this.
The single audience.
Yeah.
Slash
one of us having to listen through it to make sure we uploaded it properly.
Enjoy that.
What's the name again?
Creators.
The creators.
Enjoy creators.
I really dislike creators.
Content creators.
I think
this really is a content creator.
I think on that note,
that's for sure. I think that's got to be the end, right?